one candidate who was not on that debate stage last night, but who was trending worldwide, Democratic businessman and candidate for president of the United States, Andrew Yang. America needs Yang. I saw that across my Twitter feed, but we didn't see you on the debate stage, Mr. Yang. Let's start this conversation with the same way everyone got to. Why are you the best prepared candidate to be the next commander-in-chief?
I'm focused on the real problems that got Donald Trump elected in the first place. We blasted away millions of manufacturing jobs, including 40,000 right there in Iowa. And now Americans are seeing 30% of our stores and malls close because of Amazon, while Amazon's paying zero in taxes. We're going through this epic economic transformation, and it's leaving more and more Americans behind. We have to stop acting like Donald Trump caused all the problems. He's actually the symptom of a greater disease that we need to cure together as a party and as a country.
Then do you believe the American dream is dead? Because right now the president pushes a narrative that if you elect any Democrat, the economy is going to tank.
Well, you have record high corporate profits, Stephanie, but you also have a declining life expectancy. So which do you pay attention to if you are a country? And even when Donald Trump was running for president a few years ago, he said that the unemployment number is fake news. It obscures all this painful reality in our communities. He was right, but then when he became president, all of a sudden it became real news. The fact is that there's a lot of economic pain and insecurity around the country. Certainly, I see it every day on the trail.
But here's what's interesting. He talked about how the unemployment number was fake, and he focused on those people you're talking about, those disaffected Americans. They helped elect him. They haven't turned on him, despite the fact that their lives haven't gotten any better. Why is that? You're on the trail.
Well, what I say to them is like, look, some of these problems are dead right, but we need real solutions to move the country forward. In one poll, 10% of New Hampshire voters who voted for Trump said they'd vote for me because I'm focused on solving the same problems. Another survey said that 18% of college Republicans would vote for me over Trump. So many people who voted for Trump see that he hasn't actually addressed the things he was talking about. And this gives us, the Democrats, a golden opportunity that if we get in there and say we're going to fight these same problems and actually give you real solutions, then we can win this whole thing.
So he addressed the problems that possibly Hillary Clinton didn't, but he hasn't offered a solution. You say you've got one. Last night, you were me. You were the rest of us. You were a viewer watching the debate stage, which had to be kind of weird. When were your moments, when the rest of us at our moments, when we're screaming at the TV, pointing our fingers, what were your moments?
You know, I think for me, I'm the math guy. So, when they were talking about was it 30 years ago, I was like, well, if he got elected in November, it was 29 years and 2 months ago. So that was one time I was actually like, someone should actually, do a little bit of math there.
Okay, but those are details. If you had been on that stage, what would your standout moment have been? What wasn't said that you would have?
What I would say is that we need to solve the real problems that Americans can see in our communities every day and give the entire country a new way forward that we'll be excited about. And what was missed last night, Stephanie, was a real positive vision with actual tangible solutions that Americans know would improve our lives. Instead, it was a lot of back and forth around issues that, frankly, most Democrats agree on fundamentally. And that's one of the problems with the dynamic of the debate, is that what they do is they try and slice hairs and say it's like, hey, you think that, anyone on that stage would have a much, much superior approach to policy and government than our current president. The question is, how do we rally people around a vision that Americans can share, independent of whether they're, progressive, independent, libertarian, or someone who's politically disengaged, which is many, many Americans right now.
Well, funny you say that, because last night, maybe for the first time, we started to hear other candidates talk about the economic issues that you've been talking about from the beginning. Let's watch that.
We should be putting our money and our effort and our time in preparing American workers to compete in the 21st century on the high-tech side, dealing with all artificial intelligence.
We're not going to have a shortage of MBAs. We're going to have a shortage of plumbers. So when we look at that, then we step back. Where should our money go? It should go into K through 12. It should go into free 1- and 2-year degrees.
They get that right?
Yeah, one of the jokes we told Stephanie is that I'm either going to become president or the other candidates are going to sound a whole lot like me. But
is that what's happening?
Well, Joe and I have had conversations about the fourth industrial revolution. He's genuinely concerned. He sees the same problems. And we do have a massive shortage of plumbers, HVAC repair, line installers. We need to invest in technical and trade programs at the high school level. Right now, only 6% of American high school students are in those programs. In Germany, it's 59%. Think about that gulf. So that is the big missed opportunity.
You got a big endorsement yesterday from big comedian Dave Chappelle. What's your reaction to that?
Well, it's been a thrill getting to know Dave. He's a parent like me. He's concerned about the state of the country and the future. And he also has the same hopes I do, that we can come together and actually start to improve our lives. And government has to be the leader in that. So I'm thrilled to campaign with Dave in South Carolina later this month. I've been a huge fan of his for years. You know, at the beginning of this campaign, someone asked me who my favorite comedian was, and I just answered Dave Chappelle, and I was honest. And now here we are working together months later.
He just returned the favor. Well, then obviously a big deal for you personally to get endorsed by your favorite comedian, and a number of celebrities have endorsed you, but you don't have a single national lawmaker.
Well, I'm talking to a lot of people who are political figures who are very excited about my candidacy and campaign. They're just waiting for the water to get a little warmer. and the thing is, if you're in D.C. and you're literally friends with like several of the people that are in the race, it's kind of hard to endorse Andrew Yang, but it's coming. It's coming.
All right. Well, let's say you don't end up in the top 3, Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. The water won't be warmer. What are you going to do then?
Well, the great thing about this campaign, Stephanie, is we've outperformed expectations at every level. We've been the most consistent growth story in the whole campaign. We're going to grow and peak at the right time when voting starts. And as long as we exceed expectations, which we will in Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina, the Yang Gang is providing us the resources to go all the way through the primary season. We are different from many of the other candidates that way, where the enthusiasm that's been fueling our rise, all grassroots funding, $16.5 million last quarter, we're going to be here the entire way, all the way to the White House.
All right, you are in it to win it all the way. Let's say things changed. You just mentioned you've been speaking to Vice President Joe Biden about the 4th Industrial Revolution. Could we see you as a VP candidate?
Well, I've said already that I want to help solve these problems as president, but the problems are going to be here anyway. So if it's not as president, as vice president, also great. Some other capacity, fine too. I just want to help make the country a better place for my kids.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephanie.
I appreciate it. Mr. Yang, Andrew Yang. This guy was trending worldwide last night, and he wasn't even on the stage.
Put the money in our hands. Put the money in our hands. Put the money in our hands. Can we afford it? Yes. Will it cause inflation? No. Is it awesome? Yes. Is anyone trying to make it happen? Yeah,